Good morning, everyone. Those that are in person, and I guess those that are in YouTube afterwards. Welcome back to another week of How to CAD Almost Anything. This is our sixth week, and I'm very excited about today because it's really my favorite class of all time, which is making Lego bricks. So let's get started. And yeah, this is what we did last time, or what we had. We didn't do this in person, but the videos do kind of show you how to do this. This is fairly complicated, so today is gonna be a lot simpler. Um, any questions? Okay. The questions shall come at another time. So I thought about doing, so we're going to do, so the purpose of today is doing these Lego bricks. So I thought that to warm up for the Lego bricks, it would be interesting to start by designing a Lego minifig head and the hat. But I'm just chatting here with the student, and I think it would be a lot more interesting to do another warm up exercise. That might be interesting. So, when you played with, actually, maybe I can find like a picture in here. Uh, I guess chemistry was right. Like we can design something that, I mean, not necessarily this one, but more one like that looks like a square pattern. And we can give this some color, and I don't know, like I feel it would be interesting to perhaps just design one of them and then make an assembly with all of them. And then you can hide and show the bonds that you want to show. I don't know, let's give this a shot. I think it would be a little bit more interesting than we'll do the Lego hat afterwards. We'll have enough time. Yeah, so actually, I'm gonna create first a new folder, which I'm gonna call week 6. Well, the purpose of the class is how to CAD almost anything, right? So if I fail to do this, then uh, there's no point in teaching this class. So let's call it chemistry model. All right, so I'm gonna make this big. Yeah, so what I would start doing now is I will click in Sketch and go here over to front. It's an interesting warm-up exercise because then I can just do a line, and we're gonna do a half circle on that line and then do a revolve. So that will give us, but before we do that, actually, let's do a line that goes like this. That way, and then I click on letter E and I'll make these two equal. And then I'll make that, the dimensions don't matter in here. So then this is a square pattern, which means there's gonna be bonds coming off in this direction, that direction, that direction, that direction, and then on the other one. So this is actually where I'll do a couple of construction lines. So maybe I'll make 4 construction lines as well. That will be useful afterwards. And I'll make them all equal. I can make them just slightly longer. Yeah, so you make something that looks like this. So then you just draw 4 construction lines. And the last thing I'll do is I'll add an arch. It goes from here to here. And we'll make that a circle. Although it doesn't need to be a circle. So we have a sketch that looks more or less like that. Now, what we can do is we can go to revolve, that command, and then for the revolve axis, we can just choose that line. So now you see you have a circle, and then you can see all of the different, well, actually, I'll click here on, perfect, yes, and then click OK. And then on sketch 1, you see like let's actually show the sketches. That way we can see them. Now I'm gonna do a sketch on this plane, the top plane. So I click on sketch, top, and then I will make 2 other lines like this. And let's see if it allows us to make them equal. Yes, perfectly. Good. And actually, I'm gonna hide. I just wanna actually I could leave all of them. So yeah, so now we have. Oh, but just make it a construction. Perfect. And now that's it. Because now what we could do is the following thing. So I can now do a sketch say on the right plane, and I can make a little circle, and we can make that circle be I don't know, like 10 big, and then we could do an extrude that goes, but I will make an extrude that is a new body. And you'll see why we'll make it a new body, and then we can say it go up to vertex, and I can say go up to the point. So then we can do 6 of these cylinders. So one for each one of them. So I'll do here a sketch here on right, and I'll do exactly another circle. Let's make it actually see if I can make that equal and equal. I'll make it a new body up to vertex. So go all the way here. So why are we making it bodies? Because then I can click, I can rename all of these things. So I can call this sphere, and then bond 1, 1. And this one I can rename it bond 1, 2. So then I can hide one of the bonds. So that way, when you're building all of these things, you don't always need to show all 6 of them. So now I'll add another one there, now one down, and on the other sides.
To create the cylinders, you had to create a plane and then.
Oh, well, you could create a plane, or actually, I'll still leave it as a plane. I thought it was just easier to go here to sketch, and you already have the plane there. And you start it from the origin. And we give it a 15. Actually, that might be too much. Give it 10. And then extrude new up to vertex. So now you can do sketch another one, another circle. Go here to deep. Why isn't that line showing? There we go. Edit up to. Perfect. Yeah, so now your sketches are, yeah, there we go. For some reason, they keep on disappearing. So now we can do, say, a sketch on the top plane and make it up to that point. So it's important that all of the lines have the same length. That way it will fit nicely on the structure. So that's exactly what we'll do. So I'll go here to top. I'll make another circle. This one, I'll make it, actually, again, I don't need to write the dimension. I can just say equal. Actually, see if I can show. There we go. Actually, that's not okay. Up to vertex. I'm just giving them some random colors in here. Yes. Now we have the atom, right? Or whatever this would come to represent. And this one is nice because it's gonna be a fairly regular lattice. Now, one thing that we could do from here is there's multiple ways of creating the pattern, right? One of them would be, say, to make a linear pattern, right? And I can just say, right, I want to pattern parts. So in this case, that would be perfect. So I select all of them like this. And then for direction, let me show that one. I can say, right, I want you to do it in that direction. And I know that the distance is 80 between the two of them. So I can say, how many? Like 5, right? And then, but I'm not the end of the, not done because I can go here, second direction, and it show what's another, what was the other direction? Let's see. Not that. I can say this in here. You can say also 80 and also 5. So now you have a massive lattice in there, and you can see it created a lot of parts of this thing. And I'm not done because then I can do a linear pattern. And this is where it might get a little bit crazy of this. So I'm selecting all of them. And then for direction, I can go here to that. Poof. Gonna be massive. And then we can say also 5. So it looks pretty nice. And then the good thing about doing it with separate parts is that, say, I don't want that bond in there to appear. So what do? Hide part 774, like this. So I can just selectively hide the parts that I want. So I can go here and do command. Say that bond doesn't belong there. I can also hide it. Whatnot. So you can be creative with. This is very good because for those of us that do chemistry or whatever research you do, now you can make like nice illustrations of your atoms or all of these things. Perfect. And what we're gonna learn today is actually, I think, perhaps a better way of doing it. Or is it 55?
Oh, no, it
Might be 60.
60.
Perfect. Yeah, but I will actually delete all of these. I will. Okay. Let's go back to this one because now let's click here where it says assembly, which is like this tab over there. And I'm gonna insert, and the part that I'm gonna insert is the entire, like all of this in here, right? So yes, now what happened here is that it inserted 7 different parts, right? Like this. What I could do is I can insert also, let's see, yes, I can, I'm not sure whether it allows me, what happened if I, interesting. Maybe I might get rid of that one. When you click in insert, maybe try this option that is as rigid. That way it means that you're bringing all of them as if it was a singular part. Now, the reason why I like this is because now we can start playing around with this thing. For instance, these are different mates, and maybe you use other like CAD software. More or less, you know what a mate is, just a way to attach this to here. So, for instance, I can do a fasten mate, and this is what we're gonna do a lot with the Legos. And the way it works is that you select like a point in generally like this, and then, for instance, the origin. And now I say, right, I want those two to be attached like that. But now for this other molecule, I can make another fasten mate between that point that point. So now you have it. Now I'm wondering whether this approach would allow me to hide. Yes, excellent. That's very good. So I can still hide individual bonds if I wanted to by doing it this way. So that's a nice little trick of doing it with multiple parts. Other types. So let's bring another one of these. Oh, so, there we go.
What was the button?
Oh, that one, fast and make. You can do like this one. You can say, right, I want to put this point and this point together. The only problem is that it just moved one of them. So what I do is let me just delete all of these. I'm gonna insert them as a rigid part like this. Let's bring three of them. Actually, I'll do a fasten mate first between here and the origin. That way, this is not gonna move from anywhere. And then another one that can be, say, from here. Yeah, like that. So now for the third one is, you see how this is like a very like regular pattern, right? Now, what if you told me that there's some, weird angle in there? So what we could do is this one that's called a revolute mate. So I can click here on that point and on this point in there, I click OK. So now I'm able to turn. So then I can determine, all right, I want this distance to be this. So you can now make, say you have like a layer and then a layer on top of it that is at 45 degrees and then another one at 45 degrees. So you can invert a little bit. Now, if you want to lock it in that space, I think we can edit this bond and it allows you to put like limits on how much like you rotate this. And also you can, well, this one, the Revolute one allows you for free movement because I can also, I think if I were to edit this fast and mate, I can also, I think, where is it? Offset. I think here allows me to do rotate about Y, rotate about Z. There we go. And everything changes. Yeah, so you can play with like the angles and do fun stuff. And you can also do patterns in here too. I can do an assembly linear pattern. I can say, actually, let's do an example of that. Let me get rid of this one. For instance, I have that one at 45 degrees and that one like this. So I can say, all right, this one in the bottom. Let's see. That would be great if it gave me a actually. Let's see, instances. Want the entire direction. I'll choose something like that. Let's say 80. Let's say 5, like we did before. Let's do a second direction. That's gonna be here. Let's do. Oh, that's a problem. If I do 80 of the distance like that, and you can reverse the direction if you want it. And say okay. And now let's do the top one in here. Let's do linear pattern. So instances, remember to select all of those like this. And then direction, you can say again, now you want it on, say like that, not reverse the direction. Let's do 80 like this. Let's do 5. Now we have to be careful because, well, you see like the math doesn't particularly check out very well in there. So maybe the one that I would insert in here would be a little bit, maybe I would change like the length of that and whatnot. But it's possible to do it. I can just say, right, do it in the other direction and maybe it's not no longer a bond. Maybe it's like a structure now. And you just have it like that. So you can play around building.
And you drew the direction before you.
No, for the direction, I just chose like the
One.
face. Yeah. So it's smart to recognize. Yeah, so those are in general most of the bonds that we'll be doing here. In the maybe I can bring the. I mean, we'll do assemblies more in depth in just a moment. But if I go to the, let me open the helicopter. A second.
The tape.
Yes. In the helicopter, what happens is if I move this, it also moves that one. So that's a type of bond that's called the where is it? It's the gear relation bond, which is over there, which we could do actually because I can go back to, let's see if I go back here to class demos. Huh? All right, let's see. I'm gonna delete this bond. Look at what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make a revolute mate in here. That's gonna be between this point and that point, like that. So what does that mean? That now I can just turn this around. Now I'm gonna do. Look at what I'm gonna bring another one of these parts. I'll bring it there, and I'll make another revolute mate. That's gonna be in that point and that point. Perfect. And then I'll make another little linear pattern where I'm gonna select all of these. And it doesn't matter the direction because I can always rotate it. I'll make that. Oh, that's too much. 80. I can make that like 3. Boom. So yes, I can also rotate this. Now, what I think is gonna be fun is let's do a gear relation. And for the gear, it would ask you to select two like revolute mates. So I can say I want that one and I want that one. And I want the relation to be one in the sense that if I do one circle on one of them, the other one will also work. So imagine that just magically there's a system that allows for this. So then if I were to turn that one, the other one turns at the same time as well.
So you don't have to create like concrete bonds between the two. Like
No. So you don't need, so it's just a matter of how you do the mate, so you can make it turn around. That's pretty cool because as far as I'm concerned, I think if I click here in gear and I go here to edit, actually it doesn't. One functionality that I haven't yet discovered is how to animate things. Just that I press a button and I tell her, right, do it for me. But well, you could be recording the Zoom like this and it will show you. It's funny, like they're moving all at the same time. You can make like a moving thing. And other mates I haven't used the much, but you can replicate the pattern, also circular pattern if you needed that, and then some other gear. Yes, I think this is for our class, which is just more of an introduction, right? Then you explore what you want to do. These are most of the bonds that you use. And then there's this command that's called the mate connector, which is so far we've always used a point. When we did a fasten mate, we used a point that appears there like this. But what if you wanted a point? What if I wanted to bring this one but over there? So what I would do is go here to mate connector, and it tells you like what are like the different options, right? But I think I can maybe I can say select that point. Now I can move it and say, all right, I want that to be uh, 40 millimeters, actually negative 40 millimeters, like that. And then maybe on the Z, I'll make it negative 40 to bring it down there. So then I can say, all right, let's bring one of these like that. And I can make a fasten mate between that one right there And this, see, did it work? Yeah, it's so now you can have like inner bonds. You want me to do that again? No.
I understood, but there's not any clash between like the two solids that come in contact. It doesn't matter if the two solids are at the same point at the same place.
No. Yeah, so you see how it like merges this stuff.
They do it themselves.
They do the same thing in here. There's like an interfere, but that's fine because this is like they're bonds. Like they're like merging with each other, and then you can hide there that way it not doesn't show.
Okay.
So when we do the Lego bricks, which is a lot simpler actually than the atoms model, it's a very similar concept. Now, one thing that unfortunately I don't think it's possible here, which in SolidWorks you can do is that if I right click here, and there's no option as far as, and I was doing my best exploring in here, I cannot change the colors of the individual spheres. So you will need to make different parts. And that is a bummer because in SolidWorks I can bring like the same part over and over and over again and I can change the colors of, while in here it's not. So that's why in the Lego boat that we have in here, all of the bricks in here are green, and I didn't want them all to be green. I wanted to make that one, say like blue or whatnot. So you have to make them individual parts. Okay. Any questions? So let's do the warm-up exercise. Let's try to design the face. I think it's an interesting, not too difficult. What I'll do is just create a new document and I'm gonna save this picture. Let's see if it allows me, or maybe I'll take a screenshot of the picture because I'll end up using it. I'll bring it on into Onshape. And for the hat, we'll just have it here as a reference, but we don't need the hat. So I'll make here, I'll create a document, I call it Lego mini big head. Yeah, so this is, I guess, the fifth class that we're using pictures. So it's a technique that doesn't disappear. It continues to pop up over and over and over and over again. So I go here to sketch and I go over to front and then I'll bring as usual, I'll here insert picture, import, and I have it here in Spanish. There we go. And then I can just choose a space in here. I can move this down. And I will try to choose a point that is roughly there in the middle. Then I can make that 50. It doesn't matter. We can always scale the size and whatnot. Yeah, so important. And then as usual, I'm gonna click on the line and I'll start tracing the overall, just half of our Lego picture like this. I'll do or like that, and then we'll do a revolve, and that will give us the overall shape. Although we'll make it as a master sketch, as we always do. Uh, go like that. I guess I could do a semicircle here. Tangent, tangent. Yeah, well, Agreed. It doesn't seem to be. Yeah, very well. Yeah, so something like just half of the thing. And then the next thing I'll probably do, even though now that I'm looking at this, it's not purely symmetrical, I will do also the eyes and the smile. So I like designing faces like this because they're very simple and not too difficult to do. Like the shiner. That's it. And actually, yes, we'll do that. Perfect. Control like that. And then, yes, that's a straight line. Good. And if you want, just do like two circles and you can use a spline for the smile. Yes, because what we're doing here is eventually while you're finishing with that, this is a master sketch. Eventually we'll use the usual technique of it doesn't matter actually that it's not symmetrical because when you do the revolve, eventually we're gonna project this, like we'll do the wrap into that surface. So it's gonna look, I hope, good anyways. Maybe we can modify a little bit afterwards the size. Um yeah, so we'll just start projecting into two different sketches afterwards. Now yes, so you can click OK and you can rename sketch one, you can call it master. Perfectly. But now we're gonna start a new sketch on the very same plane that we did this. So in my case, it's the front plane. And all I'm gonna do is I'll go here to the project command and I'm gonna project the outline of our head. Just like that. And then we can just do a revolve of this stuff. So for the revolve axis, I'll choose this. Hmm? I just think in my case it's a little bit too big the head, but we can chamfer that. It's again, it's Elgo, not Lego. What we're designing is a slightly different variation. Okay, so now that we've done that, we'll create a new plane, and this plane is gonna be offset. So we click on offset from the front. We're gonna offset it enough, like maybe 50 would be enough or whatever. That way you can. There's like a little gap between the solid and the plane. Because once we have plane one, I can do a sketch in plane one, which will consist of projecting now the eyes and the smile. Looks kind of creepy there, just like that. And I'm gonna click OK. So I'm gonna just hide all of these things. So what we can do now is where is it? Here. We'll just wrap. after you're done. Oh, project this. No. So the first thing we'll do is sketch. And now yes. That one. I'm gonna try to wrap this in. Yes, I'll make a solid. All of these and target over here. Oh, huh, huh. And I'll remove point one. Okay, so just to finish, I guess this, I guess the second warm-up exercise, you can add a fillet if you want up there, and then like a little extrusion in there. Just, yeah, I mean, you used some of these before, I suppose, at some point in your childhood. So make it look a little bit realistic. So I'll make maybe a little something like this, and then I'll extrude. I Yeah, 5 sounds right. Huh? I'll do the same thing here. Right, is that a right? I have to soft that. Now I don't think the classic Lego yellow is here. Maybe that one looks similar. Picture. Yeah. So now you again, as I was saying, if the PhD fails, you can become a toy designer. It's a different lifestyle, more relaxed, I suppose. And design Lego. So now we've done the easy part, but then I think it's a little bit more interesting to design the hat for this piece. And and ideally, I would like them to fit one on the other one. Uh, so that means that I'll probably want to revise some of my dimensions here to see what is that length there. 0.1. And we have the hat. All right, ready for the hat? So let's start a new part. So now, before we do, let's strategize for a second how we're gonna do the hat. And actually, which model do you prefer? Do you prefer that model or this model?
The other one.
The other one. All right, we'll do the other one then. Which is, was it this one? I don't know.
Yeah, this one is.
This one. All right. Well, that one is flat. I want that to be, I want to make it a little bit more difficult. Here, that one. Okay, so I think the way that we can do this is we could do a big semicircle and then try to well, I have an idea. Yeah, that could actually work. Do a semicircle like a semisphere, like a hemisphere. You have that, and then you can do an opening for the head, and then we can do more or less a plane around here that shows you like the profile of the hat in here, and then we could extrude that towards the front at an angle, and then we can come from above and cut the like that shape like this. Um,
What do you think of wrapping on a super big cylinder to get this shape?
like this one. That could work too. Actually, it's just that this is at an angle.
Yes.
I have an idea. Let's try this. All right, let's do a new part. So create a document, and I'm gonna call it Lego big hat. Now, because I just checked the math in here, don't worry about too much about the dimensions. Let's do it more for artistic purposes, really. But I know in my case that our Lego person is the two, two, one, or two, so that's like the diameter, I think. Okay, so that has to be the inner diameter of this thing. I'll have it in mind.
But you measure again.
So what I measured is, and I can show you here. We go here to measure tool, and I click on that circle. It's telling me the diameter is 77.26. Okay, so let's say 77.3. Okay, so now we go to the Lego cap, and I do a sketch here on the front. So the lines that I'm drawing 4 lines, as we see here. This line, that's gonna be in your case 77.3 divided by 2. That way that one is, so overall the distance between this point and that point, that's gonna be 77.3. And then the extra margin that I'm adding in here, that would correspond to, I guess, the thickness of the hat.
Okay.
So having done that, I can now just draw a line and a 3 point. Oh, looks like that. And then I could revolve. Let's see. Maybe it's gonna look nice. Perfect. I mean, that's fine. It doesn't need to be. And now what we can do is just a solid line that goes like that, and a 3 point arch that goes like this, and then revolve. That will do 2 directions, 90 and 270. Perfect. Okay, and then show the sketch. Good. So now that we are at this point, and it is exactly where we are, I'm gonna do another sketch on the, actually, this is gonna be fun. Let's do a sketch now, turn it by 90 on the right plane. And it's gonna be here. So what I want to create now is a plane that is more or less like this, right? So to create a plane that goes like that, I will draw a line that goes from the origin and looks more or less like this. Doesn't matter what the dimension of the line is. The important aspect is, and then I'm gonna draw another line that comes off from the origin like that. The important aspect is that I wanna dimension that angle to be maybe like 15 degrees, like that, because then we're gonna do a point plane from there, exactly like this. So I'll go here to plane, plane point. So from that point, that line. Did it work? Maybe I don't see. Why are you playing? It's actually point normal. I'm using the wrong command. Sorry for that. Uh, that's why. There we go. Now, yes. So now we have that plane that goes exactly like that. Very good. So now I'm gonna show this one again. And we can always edit. In fact, that seems already too high. So I can go back to sketch 2 and change that angle to be 5 degrees even. See how that looks a little bit nicer of a
How can you choose the
Oh.
dimension?
like this. D, and you click on the two lines. Let's make it 5. Perfectly. Excellent. All right, so now yes, we're gonna go here to sketch. We're gonna choose this plane in here. And now what you could do is we could do, actually, it doesn't need to look exactly like the hat that we just saw. So a simple way of doing it would be 3-point arch, and we do a 3-point arch between, say, the two interior points, and we make it just a slight curvature, and the same thing in here. 3-point arch, but maybe. Oh, actually, hold on. I'm doing it in the I'm in the wrong plane actually. In here, I'm gonna first do a sketch on here on plane 1, and it's gonna be just a construction line. And this one in here, I'll make it maybe like, let's say 20. No, let's. That's gonna be the length of our height. As you can see, I'm experimenting with this. But now, yes, I will do another point normal in that line too. Very good. So I don't need that plane. Oh, construction. Okay. Let me just click here. I don't know. Yes, that's fine. Just make uh, like that. Perfect. Okay. You just hide many of these. We're gonna do one more plane. Okay. Yeah. Why not? And now, yes, now that we're on plane two, which is a new plane, now, yes, let's do a sketch in that one and we can draw the outline of the hat. So it could be like a little. I'm just making it artistic, right? You can make whatever profile that you want in here. Uh, and that one looks more or less fine to me. Concentric, I think. No. So we have something that looks like that. But then I can extrude this thing and say, right, I want this to come all the way up to vertex, which is going to be up to there. Like now that I'm looking at this, I could edit some of these dimensions a little bit more. It's a little bit of trial and error, just getting it to be how you like this. Let's see there. Nice. Yeah, that's fine. It doesn't matter because now one thing that we could do is go here to sketch. We'll do a sketch here on the top. And then what we could do is I can do a line that goes all the way. Actually, I can go here to project and I'll project this. I'll project that line. I'll project this line. And then I'll do a big rectangle that comes off like this. Perpendicular. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because I can then extrude cut through all. That way it looks nice in there. Let me just hide. There we go. That way that's like how the hat would look like.
So you projected this part on
Yes.
what
So what I did was sketch in that face and then project here, here, and there. And then you draw a rectangle that comes like this. Particular. It doesn't matter. To draw it. Good,
So what happened?
because if you look at the, I can show you like here. I think mine was a little bit more noticeable.
Yeah.
If I come back in time, you see how I had like all of this stuff in there that I don't want.
Mhm.
So now I just remove
Okay.
it. Yeah, although what I could have done actually before doing this is I could do a sketch over here, and then if we remember from the head of the minifigure, uh, actually, let me go back here and do a sketch right over there. I'll make two lines like this. I'll make them equal. And then that was 22.1, I think it was. That is 0.1 over 2. There we go. So then I'm gonna make like a revolve cut of this thing. That way it's a hollow. And try to do it like this. Remove. And now, yes, I will come with that extrude. And now we have something here that looks better than the hat. But we're not done per se. And this is where we're gonna come back to plane one, because now what we can do is we can give this some curvature. One way to do this would be either by, say, let's see how the fillet would look like. You could do a fillet if you wanted to. Maybe like 10. It could be an asymmetric fillet. That would be 20. Okay. I think this is a little bit easier to. So then I think this may have been a little bit long, so I can just rechange that to 30. Oh, done. And yes, you can color this if you wanted to. So in my case, I'll give this I don't know, let's add appearance to the entire part. We can make this, let's make it, I like it gray, whatever. Now, what I think would be interesting is let's do an assembly. And in the assembly, I'm gonna insert component and I go here to other documents. So let's see if I can go back to, let's see, week 6, and I'm gonna bring the, yes, I'll create a version. And I'll bring the Lego face. And the first thing I'll do is I'll create a fasten mate between this point and the origin. That way it's there. Here, so now you can literally build like a Lego minifigure as an assembly. And then I will insert current document, the hat. Now, there's a big problem because I may have messed up big time in the sense that I think the hat maybe twice as small as this. So what I can do here, which I think it's a possibility, is this transform. I can scale this part. Uh, uniform and yes, and I'm gonna scale it by 2. Boom. So now I have a hat that is twice as big. So if I go back to the assembly, that is exactly what happens. So I can click on the part, and then if you do just one click, I can rotate it like this. 180. Now, moment of truth. Let's do a fasten made between here and Oh, my goodness. This is fun. Like I'm very pleased. I mean, it doesn't need to be like the hat. Like for instance, I can right click here and it could be facing the other direction. I can rotate about the z-axis by I don't know, like 45 degrees. It could be like a sideways hat. It could be a backwards facing hat like that. It's like a tennis player. I don't know, like, but I like it with forward facing. So let's edit here. All right, so let's go here to Onshape. Let's create a new part, and we're gonna call this one Lego brick. Let's do a 2x4 for now. I've created many Lego bricks in the past, and maybe if you wanna go, if you like type, let me go to. Actually, I can just look it up here. I'll do CAD, MIT, and I'll go to the IAP version of this class. You scroll down, down, down to the equivalent of today, which is also session 6. You can find the drawing. So we're gonna base it off from this. If you wanna, you can like find it there and just copy. But it's like we're gonna make it very simple, right? And the strategy here, which is a hint on what we're gonna do next week, is that if you design this well, you only need to make one brick. And then you can do linear patterns to make every other variant of the same brick. Saying you can make a 2x5, a 2x6, a 2x7, like in all the different possibilities. So yeah, so we're gonna follow more or less these dimensions, which is that drawing. Perfect. Okay. Have you used drawings in the past? Yes. Okay, so I guess yeah, normally I don't like teaching with drawings. I like you to use your imagination. This constrains your ability to do like good stuff. But we'll eventually we'll do drawings at some point in the future. Yes, so I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna do a sketch. Yes, I'll do it very quickly. I know from looking at the drawing that this dimension here is 8, 8, 8, 8, so that's 32. That's 8, 8, that's 16. So it's 32 by 16, the square, and then it's 9.6 tall. So let's start by doing that. So I'm gonna do a rectangle here, and these are approximately the actual dimensions of a Elgo brick. I'm not gonna say the real name, but they will come after me all the way from Denmark.
Sure, we're happy to learn that some people are so into Lego.
No, but it's I'm using Lego to teach other people how to do engineering, which is so important, very important. I wanna hide all of the planes. I love the on playing with Legos virtually like this. And then we have all of these little studs, and the studs are 4 from here, 4 from there, and then they are 4.8 in diameter and 1.8 tall. So let's do that. So I'm gonna draw the center line. I make those two equal. Then that's 4. And then 4.8 and 1.8, I think it was. No, but I already messed up. Yes. Perfect. If we look in the drawing, so have you ever done injection molding by any chance?
No.
It doesn't matter. Well, I'll tell you like a little fun fact from here. If you look at the cross-sectional view of the drawing in there, you see that it's a uniform wall thickness in there. So it's telling you that's 1.2. And then now we're gonna do a cut in the inside. And I want to leave at least 1.2 there in the top. And the way they do that is because otherwise if it's non-uniform, it warps and it does a bunch of things, which is also why you have the various like ribs and whatnot. So I can go here and do a sketch, and then with our friend where is it here? The offset. I just go inwards like that and say 1.2. And then when the time comes to do a remove, I can say that I want to do the starting offset from, say, that. The only problem is that I should have done that on the other side. So maybe I'll do it here. There we go. Okay. So now you know that this way there's like a pocket in there. You can do sketching that face. And then the other thing that I'm gonna do is just to add another detail in the same location of the stud. There's a little hole downwards, which has diameter 2 and depth 1. So even these things, right? The studs are hollow in the inside, and they also have the same similar wall thickness to that wall. So that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna do a sketch in this face, and I'm going to project that in there, but I'll make what Z. I don't want that. That construction. Let's make that 2. And let's remove 1 millimeter. Yeah, so we're gonna make this look almost identical to like these bricks. So then obviously there's no sharp edges. So you probably want to fillet all of the different parts. But just a tiny amount, like 0.1 millimeters is enough in here. Perhaps a little bit more, but I should make these in a different one. Very good. Now, due to copyright purposes, I'm not gonna write, even though I've done it many times. Now, I'm not gonna write the word Lego. I'll just write CAD or Onshape even. I could. So I'll just click in here. And let's go for Onshape this time. Having open sans might do the trick. We're gonna make the dimension of that 0.8. Perfect. Now you can make custom Lego bricks, which is spectacular. Oh, if you are trying to do the interior rectangle, or you can do it super simply. Oh, sorry.
Too many constructs.
Yeah, it's another. Let me just go here to sketch here, and then this command offset.
Okay.
I can say 1.2. Then do, yeah, that's fine. I don't care. Let's starting offset to do one, two, remove. There we go. So now you can continue. Now you can continue on that edge, doing the square. Yes, I'm just like moving ahead because I've done it so many times. It's just I know them by heart, the numbers. But eventually you reach this point, so it's as easy as doing a linear pattern of the circle. But you can continue. I'll just want to finish the brick for now.
So first you did the circle, right? After
Yes. So now I do the circle, and then I do a circle beneath it, and then I'm going to pattern uh, this, that, not not that fillet, that one, fillet in there. The distance between the circles is 8, and I'm gonna do 4 of them. I'll change the direction, and then second direction. I do 8. So these are the Onshape bricks. There's a different brand now. I will do 0.1. I know. So now Lego bricks as a historical note while you're finishing with that. They used to look more or less like this. They didn't have the interior stuff, right? Then they realized that this wasn't very playable. Like they wouldn't. You can have a brick that comes from the bottom like that into there, but it wouldn't connect very well. So that's why they added those free cylinders that go in the middle. So that's another feature that we have. And then taking in this drawing, it doesn't have it, and we won't do it in ours, but there's like a little, like if you look at an actual Lego 2x4 brick, there's that rib in there as well, plus some other stuff that make it an amazing piece of engineering. These bricks, and don't worry, you can continue. What I'm gonna add, these are 4.8, and I think it's 6. So let's go here. Mm. Gonna make it orange, green, yellow, purple. make it aqua. Okay, so now, very good, very good. Here's the fun part of this. So we've done this brick. Now, how do you do a 2x2 brick out of a 2x4 brick?
Okay.
So I'm gonna go back here to Onshape and right, so you can just click there and then right click on the part, and it doesn't update, doesn't matter, but do copy workspace, and I'm gonna call this one 2x2. And create a public document. So this is pretty good because instead of having to do like a save as or whatnot, you just go back here and you can see all the parts. So let's enter the 2x2 brick once it's there. Perfect. And now let's go back to the very first sketch. Let's go here to edit the sketch. And this one, let's make it 16. And then you click OK. Now you'll see that this is mostly fine. What I'm gonna do now is I'll go here to the linear patterns and I will edit them just to change this one instead from 8, from 4, I'll change that to 2. That way it's no complaining, and I'll do the same thing with the one in the bottom. Actually, that one would be just 1. See? So now you have and then you can, if you want, you can change the color. I'm gonna make this one blue. Now, another variant that we can do from the 2x4 brick, I'm gonna make another, let's do another copy workspace. But instead of calling it brick, I can call this plate. And then we can say create public document, and I open the, like the plate, and then what is the plate is literally, if you now go back to extrude 1, instead of 9.6, I can divide this by 3. And just give it a moment to think. And yes. Well, you know how a plate, if you put 3 of them together, they make the height of a.
Strict, but yeah.
It's like, oh, well, now you know it's like free term. But right, and you see it updates perfectly, like all of the different features. So in other words, once you've designed one brick, designing all the other bricks that you want, it's easy. In fact, let's do a slightly more complicated one, which I don't even know whether it exists, but let's try and see it. Does this exist? Well, there's a, let's call it a legendary kind of brick where I've only seen it very rarely. It's a bigger brick. It's 4 by, what is it? No, this is a little bit more. 4, this is a 4 by 10. So let's do a 4 by 10. Let's try doing one 4 by 10. So I'm gonna go back to the standard 2x4, copy workspace, let's do a duo. 4x10. Public document. So let's open the 4x10. So now, if you do the math, you know that 16 corresponds to 2. So then the length in here will be 32, while that would be 16 times 5. So I don't need to do the math. I just let it do it. So now this would be an interesting trick because that is all flat. Now I just need to edit the linear patterns. So I'll edit them. I want that to be 10 and this to be 4. Now the problem is the bigger bricks that you do, say you want like a bigger, say 20 by 20 plate, the more this is gonna complain about like lots of things. Well, now I need to edit the bottom side of this. And I'll make these guys, I think it has to be 9. Yes, and then second direction would be that one. I'll make that 3. And then actually has to be 8. And I'll change the direction. Very good. Nice. So I'm glad that we did this brick because now we can build it like a house, say on top of each other, which is exactly what we're gonna do now. So once we're here, so we have all of our bricks and whatnot. Actually, you know what we can do? Let's change the colors first. So let's make the appearance and make this one yellow. That way I can differentiate them. I'll make the plate.
But this one is more flat, right? It has to be divided by 3 as well. So
If you want to, you are now they hired you. They hired you to do the design. You can choose whatever. I'll make this one slightly red. Okay, so now I can create a new document. We can go back to like Onshape and whatnot. And I'm gonna call it Lego house. Right here. But now instead of when we create a document, here, let's go. I'll change it, change it. Nice. Let's create a new one. So instead of being on Part Studio, which is where we are now, let's go to Assembly 1. And now we're gonna start inserting components. Now, you'll see when you click in Insert up there, nothing appears. So you go to Other Documents, and you have to go to whatever folder you might have. And so in my case, it already knows that I'm in week 6. So I'm gonna first bring the 4x10 because the 4x10. So it says create a version, and I'll click OK. I want to create a version, and then say create. You're gonna take a second to load, and once it's loaded, it will allow you to click on it and bring it inside.
Should we click on that before?
No, doesn't matter because it's a single part. Or just okay, good. And now the first thing that we could do is we can go to fast and mate, and we find whatever the like the middle of this part is and the origin, and we make them together. There we go. What does that do? Is just fixes this brick in space. And that way we're gonna start building onwards from this one.
Wait, you have the.
Oh yes, let me try it. That's it. Okay. So I can move it now. But I just want to do clicking here. I click that point. So now let's insert a 2x4 brick. So I create another version in here. And I'm gonna have it like that. Now I want to put the brick, I want to rotate it a little bit. So how do you rotate the brick? Say I click just first like that. So now you click once on the brick, and then all of these different arrows appear. So I can just rotate like this. It's a lot. This is a nice functionality. It's a lot better than in SolidWorks. So then what I could do here is I can do a fast and mate. And what I like about Legos is that it's all a standard system. So I can say click in that circle. And then I can click in the same circle on, I guess it would be this one in here. So now we'll kind of want to be there. Now, if I go to offset and I go to Z, I can give it, I think it was 9.6. It will go all the way up like that. So now we're gonna do something that I wish I had known when I was 10 years younger. My parents wouldn't buy me a lot of Legos. They're expensive. It's expensive plastic. So I wish I had learned how to do this earlier. That way you could play. You can play in the computer. You see that? That's what I'm gonna do with my kids. I'm gonna teach them this first. That way they're not gonna make me this. I'm gonna buy the Legos for myself, not for them. That way I'll play with them. Yes, I'm gonna repeat the same strategy over and over again. 9.6. No, I think. Oh yes, it is a little bit. Let me try. There we go. For a moment, like whenever the system doesn't work, now you can bring more bricks like this. Yes, I'm just playing with these ones. Then I can do. Actually, these are the colors. If you've seen this show called Phineas and Ferb, this is the color of the platypus. And there, it's like blue and orange.
Cherry.
It's like very nice. If you have a lot of imagination, this could be the platypus. Okay, so now we have this. And now I'm gonna bring other bricks. I'll create a version. Okay, doesn't matter. So yeah, so now the only unfortunate thing about this is that all the bricks of a particular kind, unless you create another version of them, will be of the same color. So you have to choose your colors wisely because they will be all the same. Hmm, yeah, I only have 3 bricks. There we go. Then I'm gonna bring one more brick in here. Let's see. Offset this by 9.63. It can be a very relaxing activity, as you can see, just playing. The one that would go. Okay, so that the math will check out. Let's see. But I think if you have a lot of imagination, this could be a train. But I don't think it's in there. But yeah, this is it. So now you can just play.
I know what I'm going to do this summer.
Yeah, like you can just do whatever you want. So, yeah, so I'll stop it here. But I just want to go back to the slides just to show. Um, yeah. So this was we've done this. Then this you can see later the video how to do the boat, although it's not very different. Yeah, I designed like just a bunch more bricks. You can all download them. You can use them online. You can play around. And if you want to take another challenge and you feel very comfortable, you can try making the Technic bricks. These are, if you look in the Lego boxes, right, it's like plus 14 years old or so. So this one for the more experienced learners. And yes, this is next week actually. It's gonna be interesting. I'm not sure in what capacity we're gonna design the Mario Kart, but I think it should be fun. But yes, this is it for now. I'll stop sharing. And also my Mac is almost out of battery, so bye bye.
Right?
See you guys next time. And I'm gonna there we go.